Hi guys, Miss O'Grady back here with more of the London Eye mystery. We're up to chapter 6. The last task you did should have been to create a comic strip of the Tempest, or at least watch an animated version so you understood what Ted was talking about. So we're at chapter 6 and this one's called We Go to the Eye. When I woke up, the sleeping bag on the lilo on the floor next to my bed was empty. I looked out of the window to do a weather check. The sun shone, the anticyclonic pattern of the recent days continued. Barometers would be set to dry and fair, and isobars would be far apart, just as I predicted yesterday. I found Salim with Cat in the bathroom. He had Dad's razor blade in his hand and was shaving off the faint hairs over his upper lip and laughing at the same time. "But I thought it looked good, Salim," Cat said. Salim turned and winked at me. "Thing is, the more you shave it, the more it grows back. It's like lawn mowing." This made Cat hoot with laughter. When owls hoot, it doesn't sound like humans laughing, so I don't know why people say hoot, but they do. Nor could I see any logic in hairs or grass growing longer after being cut off. But I laughed too because I wanted to be Salim's friend. Then I ran a finger over my own upper lip. There were no hairs there, and this was good. I wasn't sure about the idea of hairs growing on my face. For one thing, shaving is dangerous. Dad often comes out the bathroom with bits of blood-drenched toilet paper stuck to his skin. For another thing, facial hair is a sign that we've evolved from apes. And when you remember that we evolved from apes, you have to admit how limited human intelligence is mostly. Then we had breakfast. I had 43 shreddies, Cat had toast, and Salim started on a bowl of cornflakes but didn't finish it. Then we left the house with Mum and Aunt Gloria walking behind us, talking up a storm. This is one of my favourite things people say. It doesn't mean they were arguing, which is what it might sound like. It means they were talking non-stop and not paying attention to anything or anyone around them. When a storm happens, it's hard to pay attention to anything else. Cat, Salim and I walked in front together. I was on the nearest side, nearest the curb, hopping across the cracks and the paving stones and around the lamp posts, with my hands in my pocket, which is how I work to walk best when I'm with other people. Then we passed the barracks. Salim said how huge it was, and I said it had 24 stories, and Cat said it would be flattened any day now by our dad. "Never," said Salim. "Yeah," said Cat. "Why has it got to go?" "Dad says it's full of drugs, needles and suicidal mums and cockroaches." "Yuck." "Yeah, and the postman wouldn't deliver things there anymore." Salim looked up at it. "Some height." Then Cat pointed to another big tower. "That's where our mum works, Salim. Guy's Tower." "No way." "Yep." The tower was silver and tall, and I could see Salim was impressed with London because he looked at the tall building with his eyes wide open and his mouth open. Then we had to go down onto the tube. Cat and Salim sat next to each other, and I sat 2 seats down from 2 strangers. I folded my arms across my chest to stop my hand flapping and shaking itself out, which is a habit Mr. Shepherd says I must lose. I stared at the tube map of London. It's a topological map. A topological map is a very simplified map, not to scale, so with no relation to the real distances. The stops stand for places where you can get on or off and sometimes change trains, and these are ordered into straight lines with junctions, whereas in real life they're all higgledy-piggledy. If I'd been next to Salim, I would have talked about different kinds of map and explained how topological maps should never be confused with topographical maps. But when I looked over to where Salim was sitting, Cat was showing him the silver nail polish on her fingernails and asking him about his social life, which is the thing she always talks about. I tried to see if he was bored. When people are bored, Mr. Shepherd says the muscles in their face don't do anything, and they stare without really looking, and he says I should always check to see if this is how people are looking when I talk to them. Salim was laughing and nudging Cat, so I deduced that he was not bored, although I would have been. We got out at Embankment Station so we could walk over one of the Golden Jubilee bridges and see the view. The sky was blue, the river was grey, the eye was white. The capsules moved so slowly that they hardly seemed to move at all. Halfway across the Thames, Salim took an old-fashioned camera, the kind where you have to use a film, from his pocket. "That's an interesting camera, Salim," Cat said. "My mum gave it to me for going to New York. I wanted a digital one, but she said this kind will make a better photographer of me in the long run." Then he snapped everything in sight, including one of Cat and me together with the London Eye behind us. After he clicked, his mobile phone rang with its James Bond theme tune. He leaned over the bridge's rail and spoke into it like a spy on a 00 mission, as if he didn't want anyone to overhear. "That phone of yours," Aunt Gloria said, when he'd finished the call and folded the mobile away. "Who was it this time?" "Just another friend," Salim said. "Calling from Manchester to say goodbye. Let's keep going, we're running late." "Late for what?" I asked. "Late for the wheel." "You can't be late for the London Eye," I said. "It runs all day long, 2 times an hour, every hour until after dark." Big Ben donged 11 o'clock as we reached the ticket queue, which was very long. The two mums groaned. "It's infinite," Mum said. "No, it's not," I said. "Infinity. Why don't we come back later and go to the Tate first?" Gloria said. "You promised," Salim shouted. He stamped his foot and his eyebrows went down over his eyes. "Salim's right," Mum said. "We did promise, Glow. Let's stick to last night's plan. Here, Kat, take this." She handed Kat some money in large notes. "You get the tickets and Gloria and I will sit at the cafe over there and wait. Then when you've got them, we'll join you in the queue." Kat's eyes went large and round as she took the money. Then she put it carefully away in her leopard skin backpack. Then she, Salim and I found the end of the ticket queue and joined it. A lady in front asked the lady in front of her if she knew how long the wait was, and the lady 2 people up the queue said it was half an hour to get tickets and another half an hour to board. "A whole hour," Kat groaned. "Maybe that is too long." "Kat," I said, "an hour is a drop in the eternal ocean of time. That's what Father